Your girl was broke. I don't know how I'm gonna get through school. I can't get out to school. 25 and I still don't have it fully all together. And I think that sometimes it bothers me. Everything in my life was, like I just said, it was falling apart. Like, as a life coach, I don't have it all together. And I think as a life coach, and this is the best way I know how to be a life coach, is to literally take you guys on my journey of how I'm getting my life back on track. I wanted to do this video to myself, like as a reminder that although life is hard, don't forget your goals in mind. Let's backtrack. 2022, although it's been fruitful in so many ways possible, it's been tough. It's been a life journey. It's been a learning lesson. It's been everywhere, all in between. It has been something I've loved, something I've hated. It's been all over the place. When I first started 2021, I always had the goal in mind that I was going to go to grad school. I wanted to get my master's in public health and a concentration of urban health disparities because I wanted to give back to my community. Like, that was my main center and goal. And it's been my main center and goal for like the past 3 years, actually even longer than that. Like, I always have been working with children with disabilities, adults with disabilities, geriatrics. And that's always been like something I felt like was my mission because my grandmother had Alzheimer's and dementia. I grew up around children with disabilities and I always had a love and a passion for them. I always grew up giving back to the homeless because that was something like my mom did, my grandmother did. And it's like always giving in my family has been like something that's been ingrained, and it was especially something that's been always done in my church. So like for me, that was like essentially like important. So like after I graduated, I was like, damn, I'm gonna become a life coach. Like, I want to be able to give back to like Black individuals or people of color that didn't always understand what to do with their mental health, or like how to find these resources, or just how to find supports or whatever. Because I had some of those resources growing up. I grew up, in a middle class family where like my mom was like a hero in a sense, where she was able to take me all over the world, but like take me around different cultures where I was able to do certain things. So it was really, really dope to see like, things in the arts, see different types of cultures, how they eat, how they practice certain religion, and all these other things. And so I was like, I have these resources, I have this, ability to change lives with the knowledge I know. Why don't I do that? And how do I teach some of these habits that my mom taught me and these other cultures taught me, put it in a predicament where Black people or brown people or people of color would want to actually hear and understand. That was always essentially my goal. And then it happened. I got the opportunity to become a life coach and to become a case manager, where I can work with individuals with disabilities that are in low-income areas. Some of them are Black and brown, some of them are different multiculturals and whatever. And I loved the opportunity, but I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't passionate about it. And it wasn't really the individuals that I was particularly working with. I don't know if it was the work environment. I don't know if it was just like the overall aspect of how the goals were created or anything like that. But I really realized over a period of time, over the last 6 weeks of being where I'm at, is that I really didn't enjoy like what I was doing. I don't feel like I was giving back as much as I wanted to, or like impacting the lives the way I wanted to. Like, what I realized is that, yes, growth is slow sometimes. Like, for some individuals, it could take you years, it could take you months, it could take you days, it could take you literally an hour to just hit that light switch in your brain, like, I need to make that change. But like, I felt like with the work I was doing over the past, I don't know how many months, from like November to January, I really wasn't making that much of an impactful difference. And I don't know if that was on me. I don't know if it was the individuals I worked with. I don't know if it was the plans that we had for them, but like it bothered me as a coach, because I'm like, they're not really making progress that I could see was really insightful. Like, I just felt like sometimes I was really hitting a wall. And I don't know if it was like because I was trying to motivate myself and motivate them at the same time. I don't really know what it was. And I always felt like, as a coach, damn, am I really doing my job? Another thing that I realized over this time span is I kind of stopped living like I was a coach. I started to I was never going to be the type of person to really like ever indulge in like major crazy things, but like I wasn't really taking life coaching myself, because I feel like a coach's first client is always self. Like, I wasn't life coaching myself. Like, I wasn't living by my habits. I wasn't living, to better myself and be a prime example of what I live. And sometimes I feel like as a coach, your clients can see that. And if they can see that, why should they want to take your own advice? And like, that's something I've realized over the last like 6 weeks. Like, how could I want to be able to life coach anybody? And I'm not being a life coach to myself. And that like truthfully has like been bothering me to like a whole nother degree. Like I call myself a coach. I call myself a habits-based coach as well. So like if I'm not living in a lifestyle of wanting to practice better habits or even align myself with habit and whatnot, how can I ensure that I'm teaching somebody to live a habit-based life that's going to lead them towards success? And for that was truthfully bothering me like inside, like over the last 6 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying the last 6 weeks. On June 22nd, I got fired. I got fired from my job. And it's something I didn't see coming, because like how that happened. I was riding home, and I'm gonna be honest, I was happy that I got fired in some aspects, but then it was more so I really was kind of upset because like the financial aspect and security, I was like, damn, how am I gonna make ends meet now? Because I only got one paycheck left and another paycheck after that, then I really got to figure it out. So one thing I'm gonna say, unemployment, y'all owe me money and I want my money. Just saying. I've been trying to figure out exactly like how to get myself back out there. I would say there are 3 things I learned of not having a job. For one, your credentials don't mean that you're going to land the position, no matter how many years of experience and things like that. 2, sometimes it really is all in who you know. 3, truthfully be honest with yourself and truthfully be honest with the person that is probably hiring you on why you're here, why you left your last position, and exactly what you want to do. For 6 weeks, I was literally filling out every application for a while, right? I probably filled out about 100 plus applications. And I'm gonna say 100 plus because I was doing it from the time of March all the way to August. Well, yeah, all the way basically to August, because from when I was going back to grad school, and one of the grad schools I got into was in California. I planned on going, and in California, like I said, number 2, it's all in who you know. Like literally, California's the state is literally all in who you know is how you're going to get a job. And it's not basically built off your credentials. I can have all the credentials in the world. I realized in New Jersey, that don't mean nothing over there. Like you literally have to know somebody like to get you in a job. And that is very, very frustrating, especially if you have the years of experience, if you know what you're doing, if you could talk the lingo, if you can build a brand up. It don't matter. You literally have to be known by somebody. And especially, although I got friends in different industries that are in California, they're not particularly in my industry. I'm gonna be honest, I was asked out of a job. Fast forward, now we're in where we are now. It's July, trying to figure out. I've now changed my resume about 17,000 different times. I've reached out to several friends that I'm like, hey, like I need a job. This is where I'm at. I don't have a job now. Help me. Like, so friends are just trying to help me out like as much as they possibly can. For one, shout out to my friend Tina. Like she helped me redo my resume, helped me do my LinkedIn. If she ever watches this video, thank you, Tina. You're truthfully a lifesaver. If you have not, you ever need any business consulting, business marketing, brand building, look at Timo. Like I tell you, she's the GOAT for all that. I literally had to plug her in because she literally helped me so much. So shout out to Tina. Long story short, I went over to Tina's house. We're sitting there redoing my LinkedIn. She's helping me build like my resume all over again, helping me possibly get a job at her company that she works at. Although that may have fell through, it is what it is. I'm reaching out to individuals on LinkedIn. I'm reaching out to other friends. I'm like, hey, like, is your company hiring? Like, hey, do you know anybody that's hiring? Like literally I'm pulling shit out of shit. Like that's really the best way I could put it. I'm pulling shit out of shit. And what I realized during this time, it was like, dag, for one, I chose the wrong possibly degree to get. And then for 2 was more like, okay, like this is not happening and it's happening at a slow rate, but why? And I had to realize like what growth did I honestly need to acknowledge and do for myself in order to possibly get a job that I wanted and go down the career path that I wanted to do. Like long term, I know I want to be a public health consultant. My goal is to one day bridge the gap between minorities and African Americans with resources that are in other communities that are not in low income communities and bring them into the communities that these people are in to better service these individuals. That is my ultimate goal. That's what I want to do. That's my passion. That's my drive. That's what I wake up every day knowing that I have to do. I was like, you know what? Let me really stop playing. I had 2 schools in my back pocket. I knew that like were always gonna be my safety net. Like, should I have to stay in New Jersey and go to school? So I decided, all right, fine. I'm gonna go to Rutgers. I got accepted into Rutgers, not for their master's exactly program, but like for their certification for public health. It leads into me going to get my master's in public health, but I had to complete a certain amount of courses in order to like continue the program. And I knew that was like step one. I'm like, all right, so if I know like I'm gonna end up staying in Jersey for a while because California isn't working out, what else can I do? Besides also, looking for a job. I've really been putting out this podcast, me growing my content, growing who I want to do, impacting lives for a while. Where is my starting point? What do I do to get back into the game? So I was like, all right, you know what? It's time to fully invest myself, be serious about it, because I knew I was always gonna have to get back into it, whether I was in New Jersey, California, wherever I went. Like I knew I was gonna have to get back to it. So I decided to finally jump back into the podcast. So I started to figure out, all right, out of these last 4 episodes, what I'm going to do with them. Then after that, what is season 2 going to be about? And I'm not going to tell y'all exactly what season 2 is going to be about yet, but I'm going to say it's going to be a very, very deep topic. And I'm super excited about it. Like when I mean deep, I mean deep. Like it's something that nobody's touching right now. And it's something that I decided, it really was like one day, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it really just hit me. And I'm just super excited to do it because it's going to be really healing. It's going to be really like intentional. It's going to be really honest to hear my story, to hear other people. And the one thing that I want to do differently is that I want to bring specialists and individuals that actually service individuals that impact the community particularly to have these forefront conversations, but then also individuals that are impacted by this exact topic to the forefront of the conversation. And I'm super excited to do so because I don't want to just do this project by myself. This is going to be something that like I really think is going to devise a team to do. I'm just super excited to just honestly get back into it. And I think that was just a motivation to drive because I'm like, I'm sitting here every single day at home. Like my mom's going to work, my friends are starting to now go to work, but like everybody's doing something. And what am I doing? I'm literally just sitting on my behind all day long. And I was just like, this is not working for me. Like I have to find that motivation and drive to get back. Like I said, it was more so me getting back into the podcast. I invested a hell of a lot of money into some equipment. Once again, we're not going to talk about that. Because like right now I'm kind of broke. I'm extremely broke. And then long and behold, me just wanting to invest back into myself and like just getting back into the groove. Long and behold, a job came along. I was going to job interviews. The job liked me, kept going on the interviews, and I got offered a position. And it's kind of starting to fall back into the pace of what I want to do. Because I really enjoy working with children and families. Like that's really like my bread and butter. Like I love working with kids. I love like impacting families and things like that. Although I love mental health, like nobody can't tell me because clearly I started off as a mental health coach, but like I feel like as I'm growing and blossoming, there's family and mental health just starts at the root of dealing with children. And if you can attack a lot of things at the root first as a child, things will get better as they are as adults. And for me, that was like really, really essential because I used to work in schools. I worked in schools since I was about 19, 20, and I'll be 25 in October. And this was just like, I love this. Like, I love just working with kids and families. So more or less, I'm getting back into working with that so I can really just see the difference in a lot of kids' faces. So that's where I'm at right now. One thing I can definitely say that in these last 6 weeks, it's been truly difficult. So for one, anybody that's held me down the last 6 weeks, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, having their prayers, like was helping me when I could not help myself, definitely thank you. Like, thank you. Because at times it's not easy. It truthfully is not easy trying to act like you have it all together for social media. And for one, maybe on my social media, I feel like I put up a front that like I wasn't going through all these things. But I was like, your girl did not have a job. Your girl was broke. Your girl was really trying to figure out like what she was about to do. Cause like, it was like, well, I'm not in school. I don't know how I'm gonna get through school. I can't get out to school. Everything in my life was like I just said, it was falling apart. Like every dream that I had in the beginning of 2022, I was like, I was making good money. I had like the opportunity to go away to my dream school. I like like was possibly like in a better state to possibly be in a relationship. All these things, they were there. Like they were gone. Like, it truthfully, I don't know what happened in a matter of months. Nobody can tell me, nobody can make sense of it. I can't even make sense of it. So like, when I look at all these things in perspective, like, shit happens for a reason. I'm grateful for it. And like, it is what it is. Like, all I know is that the last 6 weeks has really taught me a lot of things that I need to work on. Like, whether is me making time for my goals, my visions, and things that I want to do. I now need to dedicate time for school. I have to dedicate time, to actually working and being, a better employee moving forward to my employer. I need to make intentional time for my content, for my podcast, and to what I want to do for my business. So one day I can, bridge that gap between minorities and Black people and these vital resources, because they're there. They just, I know people just need to know more about them. And so, yeah, that's really just all I had to say. Like I said, like this, like if I could just, I don't want to keep y'all long, but like 6 weeks, I've really have put a lot on my mental, a lot. Like, for one, I have to say, if my mom ever watches this, Mom, sincerely know that I genuinely appreciate you. I genuinely love you. There's nobody like you in the world, because you've been there when I didn't have anything, clearly, like right now. And even when I can't invest into this house financially, you see my goals that I want to do, and you invest into me emotionally and mentally to keep motivating me to go after what I want to do, whether that's school, this podcast, or anything like that. So thank you. I genuinely appreciate you. I don't know, you'll probably never watch this YouTube video, but it's here if you ever do. 6 weeks, it's been a hell of a ride. I've noticed there are things that I definitely need to work on, whether it's just like really creating content, whether it's being more patient with myself to understand that not everybody's journey is my journey. And whatever happens in my journey, I got to figure out a way to be appreciative of it, learn from it, embrace it. If I don't like it, there are ways to change it, to better me and to not hurt others. Just be a better human being. And that's really kind of just all I got. Like I said, social media, whatever, sometimes also people post on social media, don't think they're not going through anything, because they are. Like I said, like, to my friends that knew everything that was going on in my life, that like, kept motivating me, kept saying like, it's gonna come, be patient, things are gonna happen. Thank you. One of my best friends, like, literally, he said to me every single day when I thought about so many times, like, this ain't gonna work, this ain't gonna happen. Like, he was like, bro, you're only gonna be unemployed for a month. Like, relax. He was right. So thank you for the motivation. I wouldn't sometimes be sane without him. Life coaches don't have it all together, because clearly, as you can see, I really don't have a lot of my shit together, and I own that. Like, I own the fact that like I'm working on myself right now to get it together, whether that's me starting a new job in a matter of a couple days, and probably by the time this video has come out, I probably would have been working on my job maybe for at least a few days or a week. Me starting school in September, me getting back into my podcast. So if you haven't seen any of the episodes I've put out, probably now we're going on maybe the second or third episode for the last 4 episodes to end out season 1. And also just really getting on back on my grind of like me working out 2 to 3 times out of the week to better like my health and things like that, because those are important to me. And then eventually, if the relationship falls into place, which is one of the last things on my list, is like it just happens naturally. But like I said, as a life coach, I don't have it all together. I don't have all the pieces. I'm just starting to rebuild my habits to create the lifestyle and the life that I want for myself. And I think as a life coach, and this is the best way I know how to be a life coach, is to literally take you guys on my journey of how I'm getting my life back on track and getting my habits. Like, I'm gonna be 25 in a matter of, we're looking at this, when I'm recording this, it'll be August 5th. And when I turn 2 months from being 25, like, when I'm thinking about it, I'm 25 and I still don't have it fully all together. And I think that sometimes it bothers me. But as a 25-year-old life coach, I don't want kids that are my age, or not kids. I don't want adults that are my age. I don't want kids that are younger than me to honestly have to make the same mistakes and have to go through the same habit correction that I did, because it's more so I already did it. Here's how you can avoid it. So long story short, maybe that's kind of what this is for. One day if I have kids, I might sit them down and let them watch this too, so they can understand like, your mom already did this. Please don't make the same mistakes that they did. I mean, she did. So long story short, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So yeah, life coaches aren't perfect. Some of us may put on a facade to think that we got it all together. We don't. We make mistakes 100% of the time. It's more so if we're able to acknowledge them, take accountability for them, assess what to do next and move forth with it. I think that's what makes us really the best life coach possible. So that's really kind of all what I wanted to end it on. And yeah, till then, this is now just watch my journey and watch me document like kind of everything that goes on from here. So yeah.